There's more to malpractice insurance than just having it or not having it. I'm Dr. Hockman, the medical matchmaker. There's different types of malpractice insurance, so let's get into a little bit about the different types, what it means to you, and what to do if you find yourself needing to pay for your own tail. So the different types of malpractice insurance are occurrence-based and claims-made. So malpractice insurance will cover you for the time that your plan is active. So just say your plan is active for this 2-year time period, and then your plan coverage ends. So, either you leave a job or maybe you switch to a different malpractice insurance. So there's occurrence malpractice insurance, which will cover you during that period and in the future, once this policy is over, if a former patient from this plan cover period comes to you and brings up a malpractice claim, you're covered if you have occurrence-based malpractice insurance. Now, claims-made malpractice insurance will cover you for just your coverage period. And then once you stop paying your premiums, you're no longer covered. So if a patient that you saw on this date comes back to you on this date and brings a lawsuit against you, you're actually no longer covered for this. So for moving forwards, after that coverage period ends, you need something called tail malpractice insurance. So it's important to know that there's occurrence that will cover you for now and the future moving forwards. It costs a little bit more, maybe a lot more. And then there's claims-made insurance, which covers you only while you're paying your premiums. And then once that plan ends, you then have to go pay for tail. So this comes up a lot, and there's a few things to know about it. The one is, if you're going to a large employer, sometimes they'll pay for what's called nose insurance. Now, if you have this coverage period where you had claims-made insurance, which is the more common of the two, and then you leave this employer and move to a different employer, sometimes the new employer will pay for nose. And that is essentially paying for the tail for this. That's basically what that means. So if you are employed by a practice and that employment ends, you need to pay for your tail malpractice insurance. There's a few things to know. The one is, it's more common for physicians to pay for their tail than the practice itself. Certainly this is something you need to know about when you are interviewing for the practice and something to ask about and potentially even negotiate. I have seen a stalemate happen where the most perfect practice and the most perfect candidate, where they would have been a perfect match for each other, they didn't even get to the first interview because they got to a stalemate on the malpractice insurance before they even met each other. So I would say this is important to know. And while I agree that you don't want to waste your time with an interview that won't go anywhere, there's potential that once the practice meets you, they may negotiate a little bit. So don't rule things out just based on tail malpractice insurance. The other thing to know is how much tail costs. So of course, every specialty charges a different amount for malpractice insurance, but the cost of tail is typically 2 times your malpractice claims for the year. Now, that's kind of tough because how do you estimate double? Double of some number that could change at some point. And then also the cost of malpractice insurance is dependent on your hours. So a lot of malpractice companies consider you to be full-time if it's 21 hours or more, and then they have a couple of tiers before that for part-time according to how expensive your malpractice insurance is. So for your specialty, you would need to find out what your malpractice is. Understand that we're having massive inflation and doctors get sued. And so, that number may change. But the tail is typically twice what your annual premiums are. The other super important thing to know is if you are covered by company X for your claims-made malpractice insurance, don't only go to company X for your tail, because not only is it important to shop around, but it's actually more likely to be far more expensive this way. So when I left a practice and had to pay for tail, shocker, I had never heard of tail before, and after today, now you have. So what I did was I found a malpractice insurance agent, and this agent shopped around for me and got a really great policy for me that was less than half what I would have paid with a company that had my malpractice premium insurance. So always shop around. It doesn't hurt to use an insurance agent. They absolutely earn whatever money they make off of it because they saved me and they will save you thousands of dollars. And they have that negotiating power because they can sometimes play the different malpractice insurances against each other. And they have experience. They do this all day, every day. So it's really, really important to know what is malpractice insurance, what are the different types, and know about tail. That's something that people don't get. We're not educated on this, and we totally get blindsided by this when we leave an employer. So it's one of the reasons you need to have that financial cushion, because you need to be able to pay for your tail so you don't feel stuck in an unhappy employment situation. But also know that this should be negotiated. So I really hope that helps. And if you have any questions, of course, you're welcome to reach out to me. And if you're unhappy in your current position and are looking for something else, or just wondering what's out there, or if the grass is greener, please reach out. My website is www.happydayhealth.co, and I would love to help talk you through your situation as a physician, or help you find something newer and hopefully better. Bye.